Good afternoon. I hope you are enjoying this amazing weather. Since it was spring break and we've been a little bit busy, I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. um, I just have a few quick updates and just looking ahead at what's coming up after spring break this year is going to fly by. And it's also the time where we do the most fun stuff. So, this week we learned about plants and greenhouses, what plants need to survive, how they take water from their roots and it gets pulled up to the stem. So, we did some cool experiments with that. So, be sure to ask your child what they learned this week. Um, Speaking of plants and greenhouses, Earth Day is next week, and we will have an Earth Day presentation in the morning, and then we go on an all school hike in the afternoon. And we get to see some cool stuff with that. So that will be next Friday. So I don't anticipate a bunch of like papers coming home that day or anything. Um, and then looking ahead at the following week, we have a farm field trip on April 25th. All of kindergarten goes to Penrod Farm, and it is here in Wabash County. So at the beginning when you registered, you signed a permission slip that they could go on any field trip that was within the county. So you don't have to sign any permission slips, and we're not collecting any money for that. We will go in the afternoon, and if I have talked to you about being a chaperone, as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to send you some information about what time to be here. We will be gone from like noon, right when we get back from lunch. We'll take a bathroom break and board the bus, and we will be gone until 2:30. So it is a long field trip. If you have scheduled something for your child that day, if you have to pick them up, it would be best to pick them up before we leave at that 12:15. um, they're at lunch during that time, so we're at lunch from 11:20 to 12, and then we will come back, take a bathroom break, get on the bus, and go. So you will not be able to pick them up during that time unless you drive out to the farm. But again, I have to have office clearance. So it's just easier, all in all, if you need to get them, that you just get them before we leave for the field trip. There's a note in your child's folder kind of talking about what we do at the farm. We learn about some animals, but there is some fun extra stuff that they get to do. There's a pony ride. They have a hay maze or a hay slide. I can't remember which. And we do go look at the cows, but they don't get close enough to do that, to get hurt or anything. Um, and then we also go on a hay ride. If any of those things are things that you do not want your child participating in, then I need you to please send me a note in writing that I do not want my child's name participating in the pony ride, and then I need you to sign and date it. And I only need that for liability reasons. If you're okay with your kid doing everything, then I don't need any note or anything like that. But if there's something that you're like, oh, I don't really want them to do that, I need a note in writing so that I can turn it into the office and give a copy to the farm just to be safe. That is new this year. So if you've had kids go before, that is something new they're doing just to protect themselves and protect the school. The end of the year is fast approaching. I think we have less than 30 days, 29 or 28, I can't remember exactly. And a lot is happening. We have our field trip to the zoo on May 16th, and we have a rain date on the 19th. Now, that week is going to be completely crazy. That's the second to last week of school, because we go to the zoo the 16th, and that is a complete all-day field trip. They're very tired when they come home. And you will get some more information next week on the zoo and what to do. I will warn you, though, the price of the zoo has gone up, and it is $12 for a kid and $12 for an adult. And we've already factored in transportation since it is in Fort Wayne. So please start thinking and planning ahead for that if needed. But we will go to the zoo on May 18th, which is or 16th. I'm sorry, I'm getting my dates all mixed up. Tuesday the 16th. And then on that Thursday, we have an all-school field day. And Mrs. Airgood is in charge of field day, and she does a phenomenal job with it. Usually she gets a dunk tank. There's bounce houses. There's games for kids to play. They get a snack. There's water games that they can play. And they rotate through stations. It is from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 p.m. And she will be here pretty soon sending out the need for volunteers. So if that is something you want to do, we absolutely need a ton of volunteers to help out with that. We will take any help we can get. Um, some of it might be running a station. Some of it might be if you want to travel around with your child during the day. We need both. Sometimes it's half and half, like work a station in the morning, travel with your kid in the afternoon. Um, so if that's something you'd like to do, please be thinking about that. Let's see. Another thing in May, on May 10th, we have Fine Arts Night. And Fine Arts Night, if you don't know, is where Mrs. Schuler, our art teacher, Miss Cochran, our music teacher, Mrs. Schock, our library teacher, they all get together and they put on a Fine Arts Night. So in art, you can buy your child's art that's like framed and whatnot. I'm not sure if they're doing that this year, but in years past they have. They display all their artwork so you can see what the kids have been doing. Miss Cochran has second graders perform a folk dance. So it is a lot of fun to come to, and that is on May 10th from 6 to 7:30 in the evening. If you have more questions about Fine Arts Night, please email Miss Haley Cochran or Christy Schuler, the art teacher. They will be able to tell you anything that you would want to know. And finally, our last student day is May 25th. It is a Thursday. Teachers have to come in the following day for a half day. So if there is something that you're like, oh, I forgot this, I will be here for a half day that following day. And I do ask, I've had a couple parents reach out that their kid will be gone that last week, and I completely understand things, but I want to make sure they don't miss out on any like big things we're doing. I usually make an end of the year video, and I want to make sure I get that out before they leave. So if you could just please give me a heads up to make sure I have all my loose ends tied up before they're not here anymore, and I can make sure that they have all their stuff that they need, I would really appreciate that. I think that is all I have for now. Like I said, if you are going on the farm field trip, please look for more information from me. Oh, also, the last week of school, that Tuesday, which I believe is the 23rd, we are either going the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, I can't remember. But we are going to the North Manchester Public Library. I had a couple parents interested in that. I will be reaching out to you again probably right before the zoo to let you know how that works. So we do have a lot of field trips coming up. And if you have any questions, please reach out and contact me. I'm happy to answer anything that you might be curious or have a concern about. But yeah, I hope that you have a great weekend. I really hope we don't get snow on Monday like they're calling for, but I'm enjoying the nice weather while I can. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see your kids on Monday.